So, let's just jump right in. How could a complex, modern society possibly get by without a government? I mean, no police, no courts, no lawmakers, all the things we pay for with our taxes. It sounds like a total recipe for chaos, right? But what if the opposite is true? What if the state itself is actually the main source of conflict? Today, we're going to explore the blueprint for a society based entirely on private law. You know, the great writer Leo Tolstoy said something really interesting about this way back in 1900. He said that anarchists are right about pretty much everything, especially that the violence of the state is often way worse than any alternative. Their only mistake, he thought, was believing that anarchy could ever be established through a revolution. So that leaves a big question on the table, doesn't it? If not through some big violent overthrow, then how? How could a society like this ever actually happen? Let's walk through the theory, the basic architecture of what's called a private law society. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll ask if order is even possible without a state. Then, we'll look at two very different paths a society can go down. We'll explore a system built entirely on contracts and see how law itself could become a product you buy. Then, we'll contrast all this with classical liberalism. And finally, we'll talk about what it would really take to get to this kind of world. All right, first things first, we've got to get our heads around the core idea here. The argument isn't just that a society can exist without a state. It goes deeper. It says the state is fundamentally incapable of creating a truly just and stable social order in the first place. So there's this philosopher, Hans Hermann Hoppe, and his whole argument is that the state isn't some neutral referee that prevents conflict, it's a machine that actually creates it. See, by having one set of rules for the rulers and another for the rest of us, it creates constant legal insecurity. The solution, he says, has to be non-statist, meaning it has to exist completely outside the whole framework of the state. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Pretty much every conflict we have comes down to one thing: scarcity. The simple fact that we can't all have the exact same thing at the exact same time. And the way a society decides who gets what, how it handles property rights, determines whether you get harmony or you get conflict. And this slide, well, it just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the private way. It's all about voluntary cooperation. If you own something, the only way you profit is by serving other people. But on the right, you've got the public way. That's all about compulsion. Some street government takes control, slaps taxes on you, and makes it impossible to leave. This basically guarantees permanent conflict over how that public property gets used. So, if the public way is the problem, what's the alternative? Well, it's the idea of a society built not on laws and government decrees, but on something much simpler and more powerful: private contracts. And that brings us to the core definition here. A private law society is one where everybody, and I mean everybody, from you and me to the biggest companies, plays by the exact same set of rules. There's no special class of people called government who can legally do things others can't, like take your property or tax you. There's just private law and private property, period. And this is where you really see the difference. On the left, the state operates in what's called a contractless legal vacuum. Think about it. You don't have a contract with your government. It can change the rules, it can change the price, your taxes, whenever it wants. But on the right, a private system is all based on explicit voluntary contracts. And to change the terms, everyone involved has to agree. That creates an incredible amount of stability and predictability. Okay, I hear you. But how would any of this actually work? If there's no state police or court system, who provides security? Who settles disputes? Well, this is where things get really interesting. This is where law and order become a competitive product, just like anything else you'd buy. So how does it work? Well, in this model, security isn't a monopoly. It's provided by competing agencies, private police forces, insurance companies, and arbitration firms. They all have to compete for your business. You'd pick your security provider just like you pick your cell phone provider. You'd look at the price, their reputation, and the quality of their service. So let's play this out. What happens when a client from insurer A gets into a dispute with a client from insurer B? First, a conflict pops up. Second, both insurers are now contractually on the hook to find a solution for their clients. Since neither one can just force a decision on the other, they have to move to step 3. They agree on a neutral third-party arbitrator that they both trust. Step 4, the arbitrator hears the case and reaches a verdict. And over time, as this happens again and again, you get step 5. A universal, harmonized body of law emerges. Because any arbitrator who's seen as unfair or biased, well, they just go out of business. No one would agree to use them. Now, it's really important to draw a line here. This vision of a purely voluntary society isn't the only game in town when it comes to free markets. There's a really big difference between this kind of anarchism and what we call classical liberalism. See, the anarchist position we've been looking at argues for getting rid of state coercion completely. But classical liberals, like the famous economist F.A. Hayek, they disagreed. Hayek believed that to have the most freedom possible for everyone, you actually need a minimal state. Its only job would be to act like a referee, enforcing some basic rules to stop powerful people from pushing weaker ones around. And Hayek, he put it pretty bluntly with this quote. He believed in strictly limiting government for sure, but he saw that limited role as absolutely essential. For him, being against government interference in the market didn't make you an anarchist. It just meant you believed in the rule of law. And that brings us to the biggest counterargument against a purely private society, the idea of market failure. It's the concept that free markets, left to their own devices, sometimes fail to create the best results for society. I mean, how does a purely private system solve a huge problem like pollution from a factory? The costs like dirty air get forced onto people who never agreed to the deal. It's a central point of debate, and frankly, there's no easy answer. So let's bring this all back to the ultimate vision. If this society isn't born from some big revolution, what's the final destination? And how in the world do we get there? The ideal, the end goal, is a society that's completely free from this kind of institutionalized conflict. It's a world where every single interaction is voluntary and all scarce resources are under private control, managed by people cooperating with each other for their own mutual benefit. And this brings us full circle, right back to where we started with Tolstoy. The path forward isn't a violent political revolution, it's a quiet, intellectual one. It happens when people, one by one, start to feel like they don't need the state's protection anymore, and eventually when they become ashamed to even think of using its power against other people. So in the end, we're left with this huge question. Is the state, like Hayek might say, a necessary evil, a framework we need to prevent chaos and protect freedom? Or is it, as Hoppe and Tolstoy would argue, the single biggest obstacle standing in the way of a truly peaceful, just, and voluntary society? That right there is the heart of the whole debate. So, let's just jump right in.
Hey guys, welcome.
Pedro. Sorry, Lucas.
Cheers.
How's it going?
Yeah, running around. All good here. Welcome, Mohammed, as well. I never know, is it Mohammed, Mustafa? What do you prefer?
Yeah, any of them, Mohammed or Mustafa, I'm fine.
Okay. So I started with this video that I had been meaning to share with the group here. I'm not sure if you, Mark, you came in exactly at the point they were talking about anarchy. Not sure if that means something.
Yeah, perfect. Well, yeah,
But-
he's right. A lot of the attitudes that get labelled as anarchist attitudes are not. They're just reasonable attitudes, you know, like separation of. Anyway, yeah.
So yeah, it's just something I came across on Noster, and I think it's interesting. I need to review it a bit because I was juggling windows here as well. So I'm not going to ask us to debate in depth, but I'm going to drop it on our Miro board and leave it as something to maybe go by and have a second look from time to time, because you know, we're here trying to, I'm not going to say invent governance or something like that, but there's so much that we are not reviewing, at least, you know, the average Cardano citizen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was just multitasking there.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we do have Mustafa here to talk a bit about something that he shared with on the on the Catalyst chats. So I'm not sure as well. We have some things that we've been meaning to do, like as a recurring action items, or, you know, I have them here. By the way, there's, for both of you, there's pinned links on the chat if you want to come on the Miro board. And for Mustafa, who's first time here, there's this Google Sheet where you can sign up to drop us your, you know, your profile so that we can network. So those are both on the chat. I'm not sure if you can see them. I'm curious, are you on the laptop or are you just on your phone, Mustafa?
Yeah, so right now I'm on my mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, currently having some little power outage here, so if you want to manage my
That's fine.
phone for now.
Yeah, so we'll be in touch, and I can. Am I okay to add your profile, your X profile here, and your name?
Yes, no
Yeah.
problem.
Cool. So I'll do that soon, and I'll just leave a placeholder here so I can remember that. And so, like I was saying, if we put this to the side and this too for now, this we can leave aside as well. So there's this Miro board where I try to keep things fairly organized, or, you know, at least keep a record of things that we may want to come back to. And on the section here about preparing topics for today, I've already dropped a screenshot of what we were just seeing. There's a link here to Nostr using the Primal application, consulting the Nostr protocol. So I invite you to have a look directly there. And if you get familiar with it, maybe you want to even zap the author some Satoshis. So maybe let's, like I was saying, we have, what do we call them? Recurring call segments. Maybe let's look at them in a second. But for now, maybe we can jump straight into this topic here. So I picked up this message by Mustafa on the Catalyst Network chat, and I'm not going to read it end to end, but this sentence here came, caught my eye, and so I'm not sure if you're happy to just restate this and speak freely. Maybe it's even better if I take it off screen. Are you at ease to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to take it off screen, or do you want to read through or something like that?
Well, anyway, I mean, I wrote that comment, so if you want to keep it, you want to take it off, both works by me. It was just a lamentation I put across regarding the community review process, because I was thinking that the recent concluded Fund 15 had a lot of issues with the moderation stages, where a lot of people had their reviews flagged, and
Mm-hmm.
reasons were being excluded by threshold, and also proposals were also being flagged by them at the moderation stages, and the reasons were not so convincing to the proposers. I myself, together with my partner here in Ghana, we submitted a proposal and we got the email that thank you for your submissions, but your proposal didn't make it to the ballot,
Hmm.
and we were not so convinced with the reasons that were being stated for that. And that's why I was suggesting that we need to have a two-way to look into these community review processes, so that at least when the moderators do their flagging, the proposers can also look at the reasons or the rationales that have been stated for the flags, and then they can decide to contest the feedback, or they try to agree to that. But if Catalyst takes it upon themselves to, or at their discretion, to just listen to the moderators and then flag proposals or flag reviews, that wouldn't be so appealing to the community. And as an ecosystem as we are, we need to be very tolerant. We need to decentralize our decision making processes, and that makes us a decentralized governance. And that's why I was thinking that we should have a two-way to look at this, so that we can wholly belong to the review process. And I also indicated that Catalyst is such an amazing experiment, and obviously it has benefited most of us. Personally, I have been a funded proposer for quite some time now, and I've been able to grow the Ghanaian community, to over 5,000 database of Cardano enthusiasts, and we've been doing so much. We know that things can differ differently, between iterations, but we need to collectively look at activities in a more transparent manner. And that's what I put across. I think the Catalyst team reacted to that, and of course said they will still release an aggregator file or document that will have the reasons in detail. But up until now, I still stand that, because we as community leaders, managing people and leading local communities for Cardano community in our respective locations, such as Tamale, Ghana, we take comments, we take issues from the people, because sometimes it's difficult for them to all write email inquiries to the Catalyst team. So the first people they contact is we, as Cardano ambassadors, those of us that are community leaders. You see the grassroots contact us. Okay, I got my reviews flagged, all my reviews under midnight were flagged, and they said they're excluded by threshold. I got my proposal flagged, and I'm not so convinced by the reasons. How do we address this? So that's why I took it upon myself as a Cardano ambassador and as a leader of the Cardano Ghana community, to put this message across onto the Catalyst network chat, so that at least, even if it's not addressed to, but it's an issue that I have raised, and maybe when the Catalyst team is also meeting internally, they can look into this, and that's why I put it across. So I
Yeah.
think we can discuss this further. Yeah. And,
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. I was making notes here about, for example, you're a Cardano ambassador.
yeah.
Yeah. So and you've been in the space for a while. You've had funded proposals. You have like track record, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like you should at least have some visibility on how things are working, or the reasons and rationale. But I think what's also coming to mind is like the Catalyst team doesn't really have ability to go one by one discussing endlessly with each proposer, right? If they have hundreds of proposals. So from my point of view, I feel like I keep talking about decentralizing the process, making it more transparent. And I think that's a bit what you were talking about here as well,
Yeah.
to try to be more crowdsourcing the work and being able to see everything that was said, that was the feedback reviews that you've gotten. I didn't realize that there was a document to be released, but it still hasn't happened, right? This was already like a few days ago, right?
It still hasn't happened, and this time around, Fund 15 seems to be facing quite some setbacks. Voting was supposed to be done by now, but voting is still, in suspense. It's still in suspense. We don't know. But as you highlighted, yes, I've got a lot of insight into how the Catalyst team operates. I know it's sometimes the proposals and reviews will become so overwhelming for them to look individually to all issues, and that's why they give generic statements. I'm just looking at the email right now for the proposal flagging,
Yeah.
and I want to read that out. There. So the email that came was that first of all, they want to extend. They said they want to extend their thank you for being an active part of the Catalyst community and submitting your proposal to Fund 15. The passion and creativity shown across over 700 submissions have been truly inspiring to see. And they continue to say, with such a high volume of proposals, a rigorous moderation stage is essential to ensure the integrity and quality of the ecosystem. And following an extensive bounty program review by both our community and internal teams, we have the difficult task of letting you know that your proposal was not selected to advance to the Fund 15 voting ballot. The decision was made because the submission was found to be outside the established compliance and eligibility guidelines for this round. This outcome is final, and that's what they are. And then the reasons were highlighted. So most of the reasons were that misalignment with the brief. Then the second reason is verification and credibility, and then compliance and jurisdictional image, participation limits, catalyst standard, and then administrative issues. But my partner, I wish he was here. My partner personally said he doesn't see any issue we have in terms of all these points that have been raised, because we are good standing. We didn't submit more than the number of proposals up to 6 or 5. No, we just
Mm-hmm.
had only 2 submissions, and we don't also have a pending project in Catalyst that they may say that we have to complete the pending project before we are eligible to propose in the current fund. And of course, we are very credible. We are very vibrant on X. We post our activities,
Yeah.
and we have a track record on even some of us are known to them personally. And Mr.
So
Lemon would brief. Of course, we ensure that we submit the proposal to the right challenge category. So
so you have no idea what could be the cause
no,
so far.
absolutely, yes, yeah. But
And
but but I think we should.
but eventually they
Uh,
will release like all the, because I am confused about this myself. Sometimes there's the community reviewers, but then there's like the level ones and level twos, I think, right?
mm,
And
yeah, there's level 0, level 1, level 2.
yeah, thanks. But we don't have visibility on all the reviews until level 2, do we? Or is that something that we've had in past funds?
No, until you mean the feasibility on as well for level 2.
Could you say
I
again?
don't get it.
So my question is,
Say
if we can see the comments that the level 1 and level 2 reviewers have put in.
Yeah, yeah, we are able to see that. we are able to see all that in the aggregated file. You know, there is anonymous. It's a coding system. They use put the reviewer IDs and all that. And the bounty, you know, they introduced the moderation bounty for level 2. And I participated in that during Fund 14 in the moderate the bounty program. And I was able to like flag 1 or 2 proposals. So I believe this is where the problem actually comes from, the bounty program, allowing level 2 reviewers to flag proposals, proposals that goes against the catalyst set standards or set guidelines, and level 2 moderators are able to flag such proposal. But my issue is that if these things are flagged before a decision is made to consider, I mean, to determine whether proposals will make it to the ballot or not, there should be a two-way. At least proposers should be made known that okay, their proposals are going to be flagged, and these are the reasons and that. So once they agree, then the decision will now be made finally, so that they know that okay, yes, I was shown my reason that this is what is making my proposal not to make it to the ballot, and I've
Yeah.
agreed. But Catalyst will basically like listen to the bounty participants and then make a decision. So that's where my issue was. We are not against. I mean, I'm not saying they are not doing their work. They've done their work very well. I mean, they've decentralized it. They've allowed level 2 moderators to flag proposals, but at least proposers should be given the reasons before a decision is taken. You know, for proposals to be loaded onto the ballot.
Yeah.
But going with the one way in the sense that listening to only the level 2, reviewers on the bounty program isn't ideal. I feel that we can have more moderation window during the bounty program stage, where we have the
Okay.
proposers and then level 2 moderators all participating hand in hand before a collective decision is taken there.
Okay. So I'm making notes, and hopefully we can review them and wrap up the topic a bit, because obviously we're not going to be able to give you much feedback here either. We're just creating a space for debate and for you to publish
Yeah,
your feedback instead of just
that's
a
good.
message on one chat and Telegram. Um,
Yeah.
so
Thanks
my,
for
from
that. At least your platform is good, and I mean, it will carry our message across to other ecosystem platforms.
Yeah, we
So
need
that's good.
different formats, different spaces, and I'm sure I'm not sure before we move on if you have any view on this, Mark.
I'm not too deep in Catalyst, but I mean, I like what you say there. Just the review process needs to be somewhat. I didn't realize you didn't get access to certain feedbacks and things, for example. So having a more transparent feedback process generally, I'm pushing for that, makes complete sense.
So, from what I understand, you don't have visibility on that feedback yet, and you're already excluded, and eventually it will be made public, right, Mustafa?
You mean I don't have say again, please? Say again, Lucas.
Mark was saying in terms of not having visibility, so not being able to see what reviewers, what moderators
Yeah.
wrote about your proposal. Just to confirm a second time, it will be made public, even for the L2 moderators. You will know sooner or later, right?
Oh yes. That's what Catalyst promised.
Yeah.
That nothing is going to be being hidden. So
But the problem, and maybe it's a good time for me to bring up my notes. They're a bit rough, I'm just making notes as I go. But I think the problem is around here, this line here. So you're pointing out they created a bounty program. Is this new
yeah,
for
it's
L2s?
quite new. Started from
Okay.
14.
Okay.
So it's a bounty. It's reward. It's a new program
Mm-hmm.
brought to incentivize to inspire moderators, level 2 reviewers
Yeah.
to help assess the catalyst team flag proposals that are that goes against the proposal submission guidelines. then they get the proposals, flagged before they make it to the ballot. So they brought it up. It's a gamified, no, it's a rewarded role. So but it's not compulsory. Any level two moderator who feel like participating in the bounty program can do that, and then you are rewarded in ADA for your
Yeah.
participation. Yeah, but it looks so simple, but its outcome is very, very, important, because at the end of the day, the bounty program ends up, determining which proposal make it to the ballot, and that I feel that it shouldn't be taken lightly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah. So I've written it down here, like in terms of like two-way communication before proceeding, more moderation
before
window.
proceeding.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I think overall things have been a bit more loosely managed, and now they're trying to tighten the criteria, and they put this in place. But the same way you're here with this situation. There are, I don't know, hundreds of other proposals, right, that are in the same situation as you. So yeah, eventually things could be published. I totally agree. Either at least I'm not sure in terms of the two-way communication, because capacity to go one by the Catalyst team may be limited, right?
maybe limited. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So it's
But
tricky,
yeah,
right?
yes. But
Uh,
we have catalyst. We have the moderation. We have the reviewer model.
mhm.
I don't know if they can create a solution like the reviewer model, where, because I now know that we have full control of the proposal platform. We now use the Catalyst Project Catalyst.io platform. So Catalyst now has full control over it. We no longer use the third party platform ideascore.com. We are now on our own Catalyst
Yes,
Project
yeah.
Catalyst.io. Yeah. Yeah, so we can programmers can basically create a page, in terms of, the proposals, and there can be something like a dashboard or discussion board where, bounty, moderators, and then proposers are able to discuss among themselves, just as we do as milestone reviewers. So I am a milestone reviewer, and I review projects. Milestones. Once they submit their proof of achievement or statement of milestones, I review that, and then it's also two-way. So when I review, there's a discussion, board where I can put a comment there, and the
Mm.
proposer or project owner basically comes and read. I mean, they can even see the rationale that either I reject the proof of achievement, or I accept the evidence that they've been submitted for the particular milestone. So just as we do as the milestone model, I think that this can also be replicated in the proposal,
Yeah,
submission stages. Yeah, because we don't
cool.
have an issue there. We don't
Yeah,
have an issue. If a funder proposal submit an evidence, once we reject or we accept it, the proposal will be fine, because it's clear they are part of the process. They see our reason. They see the reviewer reason for rejecting the proposal, and they can resubmit. They can resubmit the milestone, evidence. But one other problem of the proposal stage is that proposals are not given the chance to even polish up or correct the mistakes. So a decision is just made. Once it's finally taken, it means this proposal is not going to the ballot, and you don't have any chance again to correct it. If there's an issue, at least
yeah.
you can tell the
I think
proposer, okay, yeah,
I,
these are the
I think
flags of review.
overall, maybe the Catalyst team has had to manage this in terms of, okay, for this round you're moderated out, and you'll know, and your recourse is to run again on the next fund. To be honest, with all what we've spoken, and knowing the reality of Catalyst, I wouldn't be surprised if that's their position, right? But yeah,
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
I think this part here could be good. Catalyst could be publishing the rationale and for flagging the proposal and being moderated out, right?
Moderated out. Yeah.
Um, So because this is something that's impacting here for sure, right? The next point that I wanted to touch on is like decentralizing this as a protocol, so allowing um, I don't know, allowing people a bit like more in a like in a social network. People can just comment on your
Yeah,
proposal, you
allowing
know.
allowing the allowing community leaders, local community leaders and members, special community leaders,
Yeah.
to comment
Maybe
on.
like I think they're eventually going to be using the DREP system as well, right? So the to be
Okay.
able
Yeah.
to say, okay, me and my delegators are, or you know, a DREP speaking on behalf of his delegators to
Delegates.
vote or maybe even to review. That could be a way of
Yeah.
decentralizing it.
Actions.
But and the bottom line for me is like for now, it's selection by Catalyst, including the reviewers, versus selection by Cardano voting. And yeah, we should ideally start coming more to this, you know, right? So instead of using a specific team with a specific list of people, it would be good if it was really, really decentralized in terms of everyone gets to vote on. Well, it's the way, in a way, this is what happens afterwards, right? If you make it into
Mm-hmm.
the voting phase, but I
Stage.
don't know. Yeah, I think in a way, this is all due to them trying to funnel things, and it was bound to happen when the goal is to go from 1,500 proposals to 600 or 400 proposals. Yeah, it was bound to filter a bit some things that maybe don't make so much sense to be filtered,
Yeah.
and to be without bandwidth to provide feedback on that. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
I can't think of sharing anything else, any more views on this. Mark,
Yes.
anything?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mustafa, go on.
I was just saying that, yeah, of course, some proposals definitely needs to be flagged
Yeah.
because of their content. Some of them are totally, lack of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are not really having enough detail to the
Mm-hmm.
proposal, and some are so generic that they are not specific. The scope of the proposals are not really in alignment with the Cardano focus. And definitely these proposals as well. You personally, when you or sometimes when you are reading through proposals, you can just know that, yeah, some of these proposals, and of course some people also use AI to just basically write their proposals, and that really doesn't sound well. Of course, AI is there to enhance our work, make us more efficient and effective, but we cannot totally rely on it to, especially when we want to originate or create ideas. And so you see that there's some lack of effort. People just want to duplicate things, or maybe even plagiarize other people's ideas and submit it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so justifiably, it is such proposals. Once they are taken off, this is fine.
I think
But I just feel that, yeah. Mhm.
both angles are valid, right? There's coming back to the Miro board, for example. There's reasons for the moderation. It's frustrating that you can't really just interact more and iterate on this fund about your idea, but eventually it would be good if we have more space for two-way communication and community input at large. I also even think of endorsement to your proposal by others. So it just comes back almost to that upvoting, downvoting type of dynamics that we used to have. And I think that there's a lot of space to improve. That's basically it. I'm just trying to drop my notes onto the board. And yeah, I can't think of saying much more, Mustafa. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming by, and you're very welcome
All
to
right.
stay for the whole call because we just have 20 minutes more, and just trying to drop this without formatting, but I'll leave it here like that for now, and maybe we can
Okay.
tidy it up later. So what we're going
I'm
to
very
do,
grateful too, Lucas. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I know, you've been, very consistent with this course, and I've missed some of the calls, but I hope that jump on from time to time. And I'm so
yes,
glad I've been able to make it today. Yeah, so that we look through this. That makes us, a collective, ecosystem participants. I'm
it's
glad to also hear from Mark.
yeah. I invite you to take a look at what we've done in the previous calls. There's a playlist. I was dropping links for that in even in the Luma calendar schedulings. I'm going to continue doing the Luma calendar every week, so you can sign up. You can follow the calendar, and it's very free format for now. But I intend to keep it running indefinitely because as a project on Cardano, I feel like it's healthy if we start inviting people over to discuss in our calls rather than just going to the official calls or something like that. And I think although it's a bit unstructured for now, I think it's something that we should have started doing a long time ago. Um, so
Yeah, that's great.
in terms of
I
tooling
will
reviews,
see how I can. Okay, to review. I was just going to say that I recently recruited some great, amazing young guys to
mhm.
assist my work as an ambassador. They are called Cardano Ghana ambassadors. So they are going to
Okay.
be local Ghana ambassadors pushing for Cardano adoption
So you're
and in
gonna
terms of.
be you're mentoring them. Is that it?
Yes,
Or
I'm mentoring them. I'm mentoring them. So if you think that this is a good platform for them to come over, feel free and
yes,
let me know. I can connect you to some of them. Yeah,
Cardano, Ghana.
Cardano
Sorry.
Ghana ambassadors.
Yeah. So how did you set this up? You just started
So yeah,
you give
absolutely.
them a badge and that's it.
Yeah. I had an onboarding workshop. So I
Hmm.
organized an onboarding workshop for them. I launched the program. I call it a Cardano Ghana ambassador program. Something
Hmm.
like to simulate the general Cardano ambassador program because I'm an ambassador myself. So Cardano Foundation supported us. We have an impact port program where ambassadors are able to source funding for some local ideas they have. So I was able to get the support, and I launched the Ghana Ambassador program, and I recruited about 20 active local Ghana members, and I trained them. So we had them. We put them into three categories. Some of them will be meetup organizers, some of them will be community moderators, and some will be content creators. So we've done with the onboarding. We have our Telegram chat where
Okay.
we closely discuss. So some will be meetup community moderators, meetup organizers, and then
Hmm.
content creators. Yeah, and they are very very excited about that. They're actually looking forward to getting the chance to launch their ideas,
Hmm.
and then yeah, of course they see that as an opportunity to grow and of course to contribute to the Cardano ecosystem whilst building their professional and personal skills. So those are the three categories of the activities of our ambassadors.
Hmm. It would be great if you
Ambassador.
can invite them over. We are also running a project about Web3 UX UI design. That's on Fridays, and we're also reaching out to on LinkedIn and trying to get into even Instagram to onboard end users and project owners from like real world Web2 projects to onboard them. So have a look on links.45b.io for all of these different two projects that I mentioned. And there's the two initiatives here, Gov and Funding calls, which is the one we're in. And there's also this one that I know you came by once and it's parked, but I think these two are work back to back because, you know, um, grassroots communities are, in my view, very, very important for Cardano. So yeah, so have them come over, send them our way, and we'll be happy to network. And if you could come by as well, that would be great.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. So just to try to go through these recurring call segments that we had prepared or outlined. In terms of tooling reviews, I'm not sure, Mark, if you have any updates in terms of your tool or anything else that's new.
Yeah, I've done a few updates on the Cardano Connect Explorer, mainly focusing around being able to easily access voting metrics.
I'm not sure if you dropped anything on the board, but I think I saw a tweet by you, right? That went well. That had a lot of traction. Let me just try to go there. 1 second.
Yeah, I can drop the link in the chat and you can pop it up there maybe.
Okay. Yeah, please. That would be good.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Got it.
But yeah, so I guess a good place. Well, the premise ultimately is to make it a bit more accessible. Just focus on the things in an opinionated fashion that we think people or general users would need to focus on. For example, I'm probably going to get rid of the transactions in the past 48 days because unless you're into that, you don't really need it. So we'll focus on
this one, the chart.
Yeah, so that section at the bottom's just kind of irrelevant information. So we'll get rid of that and focus it down so that all that bit in the top section is pretty much the focus of the site. What you need to know.
So these 6 angles to it? Or?
Yeah, essentially. That last one is, I'm not sure if I'll continue that, but that's just a way to view like the DB Sync database in a user interface. But again, if you're not technical, you're not going to care. So I'll probably remove that. But the rest
from my side, I struggled to make things as simple as possible. And our website is very, very symbolic for now, but I'm thinking of doing like 6 landing pages for different angles or something, because if you're onboarding people or if you want a tool, for certain purposes, people are distracted very, very easily or overwhelmed, right?
Totally, man. Like if you click that get started button, this feature isn't finished, but it gets the idea across, I hope. I mean, essentially,
I'm just gonna have to make it a bit bigger.
Yeah.
But
essentially, this would control the UI display. So if by default we'd assume probably you're just a general user with not much knowledge, unless you come here and select, I'm a stake pool, I'm a DREP, I'm a CC member, or not that you are one, but you want to see stuff from their perspective as well.
That's great, seeing things from different perspectives or narrowing it down to my realm, my circle of trust is something that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the ideas you talk about that. But yeah, so I mean, this doesn't function yet. You can select it and it will save it, but it doesn't really, it doesn't control it.
But the concept is there already, yeah.
But then, more importantly, if you head over to close that panel, you go to the stake pools, for example. That's probably one of the more fleshed out areas.
Okay.
This has, so we've got these new tabs. We've got list, votes, delegation, and pledge. And I mean, the list is a list. It's a list of stake pools. And now we've added required votes and optional votes as columns. So this shows what SPOs are participating in governance. And you can see how many they voted and how many they should have voted. And if you sort
descending, right?
Yeah, descending is probably what most people want when you're looking at voting. So it's just about getting that's what we're focusing on at the minute, the voting metrics, just getting those easily to consume. You see Heffy Paul at the top of that list. On the
which one?
Heffy Paul. He's you might see him on Twitter a lot. He's always talking about governance and voting and Miffle signer and bits like that. He's one of the only pools.
Just gonna open in a separate tab.
Yeah, one of the only pools that's voted on pretty much everything.
Yeah. It's still loading.
Well, so this is the thing. I need to get funding at the minute. this is hosted
Mhm.
on a few Raspberry Pis. So
Really?
yeah. I mean,
Well, at least it's bare metal.
yeah, exactly. And it's stable. If it fails, like you'll get a message saying, please wait. But obviously that's not good for production, real production, heavy use. But how many users are we serving at the moment when it comes to governance? Not too many, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go back to the stake pool screen,
Yes.
you've got the votes tab, and this is probably where it gets a bit more interesting. You know, essentially downloads all of the data in one go, so it can take a few seconds.
Okay.
But this just gives us a chart and overview of stake pools in convenient stacked bar chart when it loads. And
Ooh.
yeah, and you can sort it by, like, in the sorting options, this is total number of votes. You can sort it by the required votes, which is probably a more appropriate.
Oh, sorry, you meant sort, not filter. This is a filter, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's still okay. You can just see greater than 0 as well. And yeah, then sort by required votes, for example. I need to sort out that styling.
That happens.
Yeah. So now it gives you a bit of a breakdown of, or layering of required.
So what are these cohorts that we see there?
So the lighter lines are the optional votes, and the darker segments are the required votes. Yeah, probably have.
Okay, yeah. So it's grouping by the number of votes, and then they have these different curves. Good, cool.
Yeah, and then
But
if you go,
it's a bit tricky to click on a specific one.
Zoom in. Yeah.
Okay. Do I use my mouse wheel?
Yeah,
or something?
mouse. Just zoom right in, and then you'll see labels appear.
Ah.
And then you can click on each one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to optimize this a bit, because when you zoom in, the labels seem to take up a lot of memory rendering.
I am a good, well, maybe not so good testing case, because my computer doesn't run 3D acceleration in Ubuntu for some reason. I had to disable it on Chrome.
Oh, that's good, because I can see how it performs. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts getting a bit slow. But yeah, should we have a look at the other two?
Yeah, I mean, delegation's a bit boring, but you can look at it. Well, it's good because you'll see the breakdown of delegation across stake pools. And if you go to the sort, we have like self-pledge against delegation from the community. So if you did owner, for example, that would sort it with essentially private pools closer to the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So it's about,
this
I want to collect feedback basically to see, are these views useful for people? What could be tweaked to make data absorption a bit easier in these cases? And one final thing before you go into, so you can download any of the views data. So the download button in the top right just gives you a CSV file of all of the columns.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is hopefully more useful for our AI friends and so on.
So I'm gonna have to ask you, Mark.
Yes.
Do you think like the delegation, the staking delegation on Cardano is decentralized currently?
Well, it's the closest thing we've ever probably achieved to decentralization, I'll say.
But do you think it's like the fact that only, I don't know, you know better than me, right? It's a small fraction of the stake pools that are profitable, right?
Yeah, like if you sort that back to the total, that gives you a real good reflection of like how many pools have like noticeable delegation. Like you see, it's quite a steep curve, right? So everyone essentially below, I don't know, quite a low point on that chart, maybe, I don't know, 500,000 ADA, they're not making money, you know. Yeah.
But do you think this is sort of optimal or viable? Do you think we should increase K and make things better for everyone?
I certainly think we should increase K. I mean, there's plenty of arguments people have about you need to increase other parameters at the same time and do X, Y, Z. But I think you can have quite a simplistic look at it as well to, you know, the 500 number was
Mhm.
essentially a out of thin air number. There's a bunch of research that backs up why the number 500 was used, but you read the research and all of the backup is again theorizing against what we participation may have and X, Y, Z. So it's all very conceptualized number. And the point is, if you increase a number, we are signaling and encouraging spread of wealth in staples. That's just a fact. So I would like to see it increase.
But it wouldn't damage anyone, right? Apart from the huge pools that are institutional almost, having to create even more pools probably.
Yeah, we don't have.
Gonna...
Yeah, so that's what one of the arguments is. If we increase K, well, big pools could just create another pool. Well, yes, they could, but now they've got to remarket it and they've got to do it all again. And I'm hoping
it would immediately be beneficial for everyone else that's on the right side of the chart, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. But we won't know until we do the experiment, right? Because we don't know how liquid delegation is really. Of hopefully I'll get some graphs together or use what's his name's graphs, Chili Paul guy. Rodrigo, right?
Rodrigo, yeah.
Yeah. So get because he's got some cool graphs about the relationships of stake flow. So I'm going to dig into those, but really see how does changing these parameters affect staking and where people delegate.
What I'm also curious about is the dilemma that we have in governance overall, whether it's about more subjective and secondary things or critical things, I would say like this one. We don't have a mechanism to do a running survey or sentiment check on things. We have the on-chain, we have Ecclesia from time to time. I'm not sure if it's even up at the moment. And if it's not up, it's even worse because currently, if you want to survey the Cardano community about something, you can only go on chain. And I really feel like we should have not Ecclesia, not an app. We should have a standard. We should have, let's say, either an on-chain way of doing it simpler, or without spending money, ideally.
There is one standard. I can't remember what it is. We voted on it like when we first set up a stake pool years ago. There was a stake pool kind of voting thing before on-chain governance was properly official, and it was a standard. It's on some of the explorers. Have a quick Google. It was a poll,
but it was just for SPOs.
Poll.
It was just for SPOs to vote on, right?
Yeah, this one was polls on AdaStat have it, and it's the only poll that's ever been done. Yeah, that's it. Here's the link.
Okay.
Yeah, I posted it down there, so it's on AdaStat polls.
Opening it up. There we go.
So there was this mechanism to. Oh, it was only 2 years ago.
Okay. So this is what this means.
And we used this to ask the community, should we increase K? And the community said yes. And no one, and people didn't listen. You can see overwhelmingly by number of pools, number of stake, declared pledge, number of delegators, all of the metrics said increase K to 1,000 and half the min cost to 170. We halved the min cost, but we didn't increase K because the people that put the government's action didn't want to do it. It annoyed me quite a bit at the time. I remember that.
So, but I'm not sure I can read the results of this on screen.
If you click on that poll, click on
because I clicked on the title, it doesn't seem to be opening.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you the link I'm looking at.
Thanks.
Yeah, I can see the breakdown.
So, but again, how does this work? Where's the vote registered? How is it signed?
So it's a transaction standard. So you put it's a metadata definition. So you put this stuff.
You pay the fee, the transaction fee to vote.
Yeah,
and it's only for SPOs.
Yeah, this one was.
Right.
Yeah. But it was a proof of concept right there that polling on chain is possible.
Yeah, I remember this. This was I remember this happening. I wasn't aware at all how technically it works, And yeah, I just think that we should get on with it. Someone should get funded to, or do a, at a point I start thinking maybe we should just do a GoFundMe or something outside on the web to go and get funded
Probably a
to
good
have.
idea, right? I also don't know why no one else has submitted a poll. I might just try submitting one. We'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
Because the explorers have a page with one item in the list. I mean, if people started dropping polls, I think people that are interested, anyway, might get some traction.
We need more people with your ability to do it, and to create tools for people to.
Yeah,
I don't want to say
I'll
spam
add
it, but democratize governance on Cardano a bit more.
Yeah.
I still feel like to have everyone pay for a transaction fee just to vote on a survey is going to be tricky long term.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's the only way to do it on chain, really.
Which relates a bit even with the situation that we were discussing with Mustafa. So if we want people to pre-vote or to do some kind of more engagement with Catalyst than just the final voting, how could we get people to vouch for projects or something like that?
I know what we could do. Sorry, you just gave me an idea, but around the transaction fees, you sponsorship transaction fees. And now the mechanism is not as simple as the sentence, but whoever puts up the poll could put X amount towards covering transaction fees for any voters. So the front of the on-chain cost goes to the person who wants to do the poll.
You mean, what do you mean the front?
Well, so if I put a poll, I can say, well, I put 100 ADA towards voting transaction fees. When it runs out, and then people on the front end would then have to pay themselves, I guess. I'm not sure how that would work. So the point is,
to seed it, let's say.
Yeah. So it allows the voting on the end user's experience to be free and seamless, and on chain.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I've been ideating some stuff, and maybe we'll come out with some kind of suggestion around it. And I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I just want it, if it's feasible, if it's like cheap or without cost, we will just take it live and see if it gets traction and usage or not.
Yeah.
But I really think we need to think outside of the box.
Yeah.
Guys,
sorry, just to summarize.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, just to summarize my tooling description. So essentially it's adding all this data, easy to view data, and the next release is going to have being able to vote as a DREP and register as a DREP, just to fill those Gov tool holes that might not be filled on other platforms. I think Tempo is the only other one, and in wallets you can register as a DREP. So yeah,
I had one window here that I meant to bring up, but I for now I have always a lot of stuff. But it was about DREP resources, and even personally, even as a DREP pioneer, I'm still like not so sure what tools can be used for what. And thanks for mentioning that, and thanks for adding it, because I don't call it DREP registration. I call it voter registration. I think everyone should vote directly, and we should reduce those 500 ADA deposit. Yeah. So thanks for putting that in. Is it for soon, or maybe I can help you test and use it directly?
Honestly, mate, that'd be great, having someone help test. Hefty Pool helps test a little bit, but we've only got limited time. It'll be on Preview or Sancho first.
Okay, so keep me in the loop, and I'm happy to spend some time to create my own things and test. One quick question, that's a practical question that I don't have an answer to. Is it feasible for DREP to update his profile on chain?
You can update your metadata, which has like your motivations, description, those bits in it.
So that's the off-chain part, that you created a hash on your registration. So you update the file, and then you update the link and the hash on chain.
Yeah, you have to resubmit the registration transaction with the new hash, because when you change your file, it will have a new hash.
Yes. what tools allow us to do that currently? Do you know?
I don't know. I assume the ones that allow you to register have catered for that, but that is me assuming. I've honestly never.
Yeah. So you said Tempo and
Gov tools,
okay.
and in Eternal, I believe you can register as a direct. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure some other wallets. I'm not sure, but I mainly use Eternals. So.
Okay. And now you're coming out with your own way of doing it on CardanoConnect.io, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I know that there's another couple of sites that have come up. There's another one that's come up recently. Did we have it on the last call?
Yeah, the CGov.
Yeah, that's it. They've just
Yeah.
added the ability for DREPs to vote. So I assume they're going down a similar path as well.
Okay. Yeah. This is a weird, I have also a nerd option.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have a look. Thanks so much. And I hope that you get used to find solutions about funding your tool as well, right?
Yeah.
So, but I honestly think that needs to be an effort of at least like partnerships between builders or something like that to continue to have just Gov tools wanting millions or everyone else having zero. I'm not sure if any other tool is funded so far. Do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't know where these new guys at Seagov have got their funding from. I don't know if it's. Yeah. I don't know. The only reason I've got the ability to do it is because I can pay myself with the pool profits that we saved up. Gives me a bit of a runway, and I can use this to train my developers for Pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's real handy.
Yeah. I know, for example, this one was funded. So, but I'm not sure if it's still working. I don't see absolutely anyone in the ecosystem mentioning this, but this one was a catalyst proposal for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a very simple start.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep in touch. Let's catch up next week again if you can come by. And what I'm going to try to do, experimenting with these hours, is try to prepare something concrete for us to do next week. You know, maybe go over updating this chart, this board of tools, or talk about anarchy, or talk about something else. You know.
Well, one thing I'd like to push towards is like focusing the discussion on how we could bring funding into the picture. Like you said, partnering up as a group of people that have a set of tools that complement each other and approach funding like that versus I don't really see how GovTools is going to get the money it needs or get the approval for the money it needs, especially with the current price of ADA. I don't think the community will want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one point, and maybe I'll try to reach out because this board that I keep coming back to was done not live, but it was done because we were doing I was trying from the open source committee and Intersect to take a look at all these and bring all these people to the same calls and discuss. So maybe it could even have been a natural first step for me with these 45B Gov calls to ring up these people again that I've already DM'd like end of last year, I think, or mid next last year. And so for me, that's a good idea. Let's just focus on the tooling reviews for next week's call. But I also wanted to ask you, in terms of ongoing governance actions, can we see them on your tool and just make sure there's nothing worth mentioning?
Yeah, go to the proposals tab and then nav at the top right. On there.
Sorry, there we go.
Yeah.
I just went straight out through the top one. So I think we need to wrap up in a second as well.
Yeah, and then we've got essentially, I think there's four. Yeah, there's four open at the minute.
Yeah.
You got the schedule if you prefer a schedule view, which plots it on the Epoch timeline. Does that overlap? Oh, scroll up a bit. I think that had overlapping.
Yeah, it was. Thank you for
testing.
this is on prod.
Yeah, so this is live, and
I hadn't seen this one on mainnet yet, and I'm
Yeah.
happy that it's finally there.
yeah, again, I'm looking for tech like it. So I'll just put it on there because I'm tired of waiting, and I've got the infrastructure ready, so might as well do.
Mhm.
There's a couple of
Mhm.
user interface bugs, like I can see one here on that second info action down that's expired. It extends past this epoch. If you go
Yeah.
to the second one down, anyway, I'm showing you a bug. It doesn't really matter.
You're
Point
right.
is, we've got the treasury withdrawals open.
Mhm.
The parameter change is probably the most important one. Everyone's harping on about.
So visually here, the ones that are open, they, yeah, they're in blue, but they don't. This one is titled Treasury Withdrawal, right?
Yeah.
Or
So the
oh yeah,
title,
so this is parameter change, info action. So I see the
yeah,
type is in bold, and then the title is like
yeah,
under that. Cool.
might be better the other way around actually, having the title in bold, predominant, and in
Yeah,
the type it
could
is.
make sense. Yeah, because eventually the type, I think it was counterintuitive for me now to see the type as what would be maybe the title.
Yeah. But yeah, if you click on the
So
parameter change one, for example, that will
yeah,
that'll take you to that one, so we can see like who's voted where. Yeah, so this is the one where we need SPOs to get more involved.
still.
Yeah, and we need the CC to vote.
Yeah, I was distracted looking at this one now. Who submitted this proposal? Do you remember?
Intersect parameter committee.
Yeah. Because I think it's not that's the responsibility, but you know, if they bothered to put it in, they should have incentives, let's say, to socialize it as much as possible. I think CF was running a roundtable around this topic, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see the parameter committee or the technical steering committee.
If you click on that info button in the top right, this is, I mean, again, I'm not sure why I hit all of the information, but yeah, intersects parameter committee, that first sentence in the abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And got all the references down there.
This is really cool, Mark. Thanks for building it. And I always keep thinking that we should use, for example, Hydra and get people to the same way. Have you tested the new Hydra trading app?
No, I wanted to look at Hydra and
Yeah. So if you get on there, I keep forgetting the name, but I tested it when it was on pre-prod. And if you get on there, the first thing you need to do is you sign one transaction on chain to provision it with stablecoins or ADA, and then you get to trade for a while, and eventually you cash out from their Hydra head to back to the mainnet. So I keep thinking that it would be good to have a standard, even like a widget type of thing, where people can come here, provision a Hydra head with a few. I was going to say stats, a few ADA between them and you. So they like your website, and after they've provisioned it with you, every time they come on your website, they're spending some Lovelace as they browse. It's a symbolic thing, but it adds up, and it creates a mentality of value for value. Right. So it's going to be tricky maybe for the first website that does this, but if it becomes a standard on Cardano, I think it could really help even Hydra become more of a network, or, you know, there's even Lightning Network on Cardano that someone's developing.
that'd be pretty cool. Like if you go down that rabbit hole with a Hydra head, you're essentially offering a service for people to spin up servers or Hydra heads and join or make their own headset. I don't know the terminology in Hydra.
Headset.
Set of heads, your own Hydra chain.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a really neat idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one service that allows you to spin up nodes on like Cardano nodes and Omnus service and
The LATAM service by
yeah, I
TXPipe.
haven't really looked at it. Yeah, and I'm not sure what the costs are like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, it's a matter of finding the right partners to build it.
Yeah.
Probably I keep forgetting the name of it, the trading app. It's something, I don't know. I'll have it next time, and maybe formalize this idea a bit more of having an L2 between you and your viewers or the users of your website. But so just coming back to the overall calls, governance actions. Could we just clarify in terms of UI UX? This one started already on 6/11.
Yeah,
Or-
that's this epoch that started yesterday.
Yeah. So because there was another one that ended, was it this one?
No, so that's the bug. That one above it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should show as ending. It should have a red pill at the end on today, but for some reason it's adding an epoch incorrectly because that expired at the start of epoch 611.
Yeah. And so this one was submitted by the budget committee at Intersect, probably.
Yeah, I think they both. Oh, were they both submitted by? Yeah, I think they both were. I think there's some wording changes because that first one had some constitutionality conflict or something. Didn't follow that conversation in detail, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, from having a look at this, I think Max's proposal is pretty much sorted, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Good to
ultimately, I don't see why that won't happen. It's down to the Hardford committee what they name it anyway, really. But I don't know. I don't think there's another candidate for this name.
Very happy to see that there.
Yeah, I know, that's great.
And yeah, apart from that, nothing very concerning, right? This is taking its course.
Well, one thing on governance actions that this I think helps shows, if you scroll left towards where we had loads of treasury actions in one go. So now if you scroll down, so there now we have to understand the responsibility of the CCs and the DREPs who had to vote on all of these treasury withdrawals within 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, within the 30 days. And if you click through to each one is a complex, essentially business model proposal breakdown of how they're going to spend a large sum of ADA. So if we now ask ourselves,
sorry, where should I unfold here?
I was just pointing out. Yeah.
When you said the business model and all that, it's all in text, right? Somewhere.
Yeah. So if you're a reviewer of these, you'd have to go through and view each one. If you're a DREP and want to vote earnestly, you'd have to read and review it. But not also read and review it. Like this one mentions Mithril and Midgard. You'd have to know what those technologies are. And, yeah. And if you don't, you'd have to connect with people that do to get a good opinion. So, but I'm describing a romanticized process of how someone votes, right?
No, that's fine.
But the point is, there were like, I don't know, 20 governance actions of this complexity in one go. So we're asking a huge amount. Like if I've got 30 jobs in my small business, it would take me a couple of months to properly plan them out, assess it, and go, these are the good costs, right? So.
Yeah. But so you're pointing out that this is going to happen again on the next budget.
Yeah, next treasury withdrawal, we're going to have another massive column of treasury budgets and same process, and it will feel like a rush for the people that want to review them all. I just don't see how any DREP or CC member is in earnest in full detail doing it all.
Maybe my mind is maybe too decentralized in concept than what we've been doing, because I think if we have this kind of, even if we have this ceiling, it should be a rolling thing, and everyone should be able to put in whatever they want, and community votes on it, rolling throughout the whole year. If we're maxed out, then we come to a situation where people are going to be seeing when the ceiling opens up a bit more for them to put in their proposal. But I just don't think that this is a solution.
No, I don't think so. I think
so we need to find more agile and
Well,
flexible solutions.
Well, this was a result of DREPs insisting to have a breakdown of each proposal like this versus the omnibus approach, right?
Yeah.
So there was the potential of a single or a few governments actually.
Yeah, but that one is even worse.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say that. So what do we do? Spread them out? Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, is it discretionary when you submit a proposal to make its length different, or?
No, the length here is simply defined by when it got enough votes and became okay. So yeah. These ended early when they're shorter versus the ones.
Okay. Maybe, I'm not sure if you want to do a dotted line or something for the original or maximum length.
Yeah, nice idea.
It could help, instead of someone like me asking a question like this, it would be more self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's why you need to test it.
Yeah.
Love it.
User focus groups and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're a bit over. Mustafa has left. He said goodbye on the chat. And I think that's it for today. We have someone else who joined. Meek Owen, thanks for joining. And if you're watching us on YouTube, follow our calendar link to Luma and come by whenever you can to discuss. Okay. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Yeah. Take care, buddy.
Take care.